Good afternoon, everyone. It's time to rise and shine.
What you watching weekly?
Okay, folks, a movie has dropped and has made a big splash, so I wanted to post about the discourse. The movie is One Battle After Another from Paul Thomas Anderson. I feel like I can best talk about this movie by relaying my exposure to the many different opinions about this movie and how I came across them. So let's get our timeline straight. September 26th, 2025. One Battle After Another is released. September 27th. I put on this video review from my favorite movie review content creators, Sean Fennessy, Amanda Dobbins, and Chris Ryan from Ringer Movies, their YouTube channel. And their video is titled One Battle After Another is a Modern Masterpiece. I am immediately ready to see the movie. The excitement, palpable. The movie sounds great. It sounds like a classic. Oh, I've seen There Must Be Blood, and I've seen Punch Drunk Love. I haven't seen any of the other films, but I've heard all of these other films, but couldn't even really tell you that Paul Thomas Anderson was the director. September 28th. I'm scrolling and scrolling through my YouTube, and guess who I see? I see a post from Atlanta's own FD Signifier. FD's YouTube page quotes himself as a creator of video essays on black movies and media. A short summary of this man's channel is that he crafts excellent reviews and teaching about culture, American/world history, and media that is very informative. I would highly recommend you checking him out. I value his opinion very highly. This brings us to his post about the movie. Gross. Black women watch at your own risk. I feel like walking out after the first 20 minutes. It took the wind out of my sails. I was hearing so much about this being the movie of the year, and then another creator whose opinion I value so much just blew up any notion that the French 75, the revolutionary group in the movie, were going to win against the odds and beat it out to find themselves in a good movie this award season? Now let's review Feek, aka FD Signifier's YouTube videos. Starting from the top, I'm interested to see what happens with the upcoming video about Sinners. If he puts it out to the public, maybe become a member, you might say. That's what he would say. The Beyonce video was great. He's even updating some of his early takes on the election. So it shows that he's willing to update his opinion in public, on wax. I skipped over his video where he interviewed an actual protester who was present at the LA ICE protests around June 2025 instead of just being an armchair academic. Here we have some deep analysis videos into hip hop history when covering topics like P. Diddy and what he represented in the entertainment industry, as well as a blockbuster recap of the Kendrick v. Drake beef, and even reintroducing me to the concept of the manosphere and some of its pitfalls trapping men, young and old, today. And more. I will even watch some of his sports videos, even though I notoriously know nothing about sports. Let's face it though, I am not coming to his channel to learn more about things that I already know. I am coming to his channel to learn more about topics that I know very little about and have not grown up around and did not get brought up in conversations around my white suburban household or friends growing up. I have sought out his videos more after being served some of his videos in the past, and I enjoy his deep analysis on all the topics he addresses and consideration towards as many points of view as possible. He gives great recommendations for other creators who make similar content as himself as well as even interviewing creators who were not in his same lane or serving videos to members of the same YouTube algorithm either. I am going in deep here because I have not yet introduced FD Signifier yet as a creator that I watch, and while I am a few videos into my series here, it is worth making sure he is brought up. My wife even knows his voice at this point. This is because of the many times I have gone to sleep by accident listening to his takes on 90s rap, 2020s rap. So when he gave such a poor review to this movie, I almost didn't know how to react except just to shake myself off and accept that there was a truth about this movie that I was not hearing in all of the glowing reviews from any of the other reviews so far. That's to be somewhat expected. My main funnel of content is YouTube. I don't read the newspaper. The movie came out 2 days before that, and it's still early. While I'm a big fan of FD Signifier, I didn't know to go to his Signified B-Sides channel where he records his streaming content. I feel so old just trying to explain these modes of content distribution and find the words for it. So, anyways, had I known to check out his channel, I could have watched his video that he recorded the same night of watching the full movie. I later watched it on October 3rd, but my only exposure at that point to any counter opinion to the mainstream was a blurb for one of my favorite YouTubers, FD, who made a static post to the video platform. September 29th. The next day, I come across another tuber whom I have not seen ever before. This is Criticless Cast, and he is taking another point of view on the film. His take focuses on other political aspects. His description of the movie addresses how it tragically glorifies the radical and even hateful violence put on display. These themes have the potential to activate extremists who are just waiting for the right nudge to be radicalized into following these depictions of violent solutions. He mentions how the comedy of the film and the sophisticated cinematic language can help to put lipstick on the pig, or really gold leaf on the turd, as he describes it, and this slick filmmaking and comedic humor is used as a tool to help the story unfold and to manipulate the viewer into taking sides. It also doesn't hurt that it helps to choke down the movie a little easier and help overlook some of the more rougher parts of the movie, like the screenplay, or the performances, and the tone, and the overall gist of what is being presented here in the movie. Now, like I said, I haven't seen Criticless Cast videos before, but I could see how the tires on this movie are starting to get kicked and people are really starting to evaluate it for more than just the epic chases and humor. October 2nd. I watched the film. My response about the movie is essentially this video here about how I came across all of the opinions about the movie. I learned very early on some of the movie spoilers, which I tend to intentionally seek out. I like to look at the film sometimes as more of an exercise and not so much as a masterpiece. I come across this habit as a creator myself, whether it's music or video or some other medium. I just think about the process and the message and how it is being presented and displayed. Sometimes a movie or show will actually take me out of my headspace and pull me in very close to the art and to the magic of cinema. It makes me forget what I'm doing and that I am watching a story on a screen. Unfortunately, this was not one of them. My more negative comments are those focused on the quality of line deliveries, for example, that made me question the sincerity of acting being portrayed, or the humor being crass more often than not, which is a trademark of Paul Thomas Anderson, as I have seen since reviewing more movies. I'll go into further how this movie does a bad job at navigating a very tightrope walk in balancing respect for the kinds of characters being put on the screen and their real life counterparts, as well as trying to make light of them at the same time in order to accomplish, well, Accomplish? I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what this movie's trying to accomplish. The ability to both make a movie that accurately captures a band of black female revolutionaries who are confident in their sexuality and how they can team with bumbling at times but highly armed characters who are some of Hollywood's highest paid actors and make it a movie you care about, but also inject the kind of humor that releases tension and helps you to feel more toward one side over the other is a difficult task, which I am not capable of doing. I'm not crapping all over this movie. I am like others who I have seen who are just having to weigh the pros and cons of this movie and report on it honestly. October 3rd to the present. And there are many people who are trying to report on the movie honestly from their own perspective. I haven't advertised any black women speaking their takes on the film yet. Fantastic Frankey has a full spoiler breakdown as well as an explainer on her own views on Perfidia. She doesn't view the main character of Perfidia with as much negativity as others and wants you to let her cook while she explains the difference between Perfidia and the trope of the manic pixie dream girl. This is one woman, but I am including more in the playlist. We even get a second opinion from Ringer Movies, and this includes more opinions from Van Lathan, who moonlights on the podcast at times, but also hosts his own shows on Ringer called Higher Learning and Midnight Boys. Pew pew! He also joins the Bad Faith show to speak on the misogynoir-filled anti-left psyop. That's the name of the episode. In addition, we have Ben Shapiro and Andrew Klavan from the Daily Wire who want to join in. Ben basically just craps all over the movie, while Andrew has an interesting take about the fantasy of the left and the right stealing the mechanism for drafting reality. This isn't exactly centered on the movie to start with, but it's an interesting point to put forward. I'll take it. I will round out this video summary of some of the opinions and explainers that I have come across by highlighting a video from channel Back Focus, the 5 films that inspired one battle after another. After all, we have a visual movie that speaks a cinematic language and has a whole other dynamic to it besides cultural politics in 2025. In short, what brought me to this movie was I wanted to review what's been called a critical masterpiece and get to laugh and carry on and then move on to the next thing. But overall, this movie brings portrayals of people to the masses and should have used a little more maturity when handling topics of this nature or describing other people's stories. I'm not saying that Paul Thomas Anderson shouldn't have made a movie on this topic. I am not saying that after going back and watching the full-length movies that he has released and not just doing what I usually do and watching breakdowns of directors' movies. No, after actually watching his movies, I think he should have crafted this movie differently. Not to please me, and not to please anyone who disliked the movie, but to speak more to the subjects and points of view of what may have been going through his characters' minds. In the past, when he speaks of his process for writing his movies, he says, "If you ever get stuck in writing a movie, just put your 2 characters into a coffee shop and it will eventually figure itself out." But in this movie, there is no coffee shop. There is everybody being torn from each other, and that's part of the problem. One comment about this movie that pops up again and again sticks out to me. This movie is weirdly on topic for what is going on in our times right now in America. And while it may take years and years for a movie to go through production, and while the screenplay has reportedly taken 20 years to get finished, it came out now, during a highly charged, politically fraught time in all of our lives. I recommend that you watch the movie. Yes, I recommend that you see it. But please think about what you are watching. Please look at my YouTube playlist for all kinds of opinions on the movie. They helped inform my own opinion, and without these videos, I couldn't have seen the multiple different ways to just interact with what was being put on the screen. I hope this is helpful and gives you more than just something to watch weekly. I hope it adds to your perspective. Thank you, good night, and good luck.